Portugal.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and podcast. How are you today? We're going to have a Feelgood Friday, which seems appropriate this morning. Yeah, how are you doing? Great evening last night. Always interesting talking to Sarah Davey about currency exchange. And I'm thinking to myself, I'll be honest, we've talked before about currency exchange, you and me, Sarah. What more can there be to say? And then like 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, we're still chatting about things that I remember that I'd forgotten about currency exchange. And there's always something new in there. Main takeaway, don't leave it too late. If you're planning on moving to Portugal, you've got to buy a big purchase or put a deposit down for your first few months of rent or buying a car or something like that. Good idea not to leave it too late with transferring the money, because even though it's your money, sometimes banks say, why do you want this money? It's like, well, it's mine and I want to spend it. Yeah, but how do we know you're not some bad person? We need to make sure you're going to use this money appropriately. So mind your own business. I just want my money. And they might do something like, well, sorry, you can only withdraw $2.50 a day and not more than 10 transactions in a row. So don't find yourself in that awkward position. Get yourself some help from the Spartan FX team. And then the Dream Team session, Sarah was back. Oh, Coach is limbering up in his kitchen. My goodness, yes! We've got the coach joining us in just a moment. It's Feelgood Friday. Whoa! Yes, are you feeling it? Yeah, are you feeling the Feelgood Friday vibes in your bones and in your muscles and in your soul? Because we are here to nourish you on every level of being mind, body, and spirit. And I think we're doing quite a good job. So we're celebrating the coach's contribution to the physical part of our well-being and growing old disgracefully, being a bon viveur who likes the good things in life and wants to stay in shape as well. But anyway, where was I? Yeah, Dream Team. Sarah came back for that. It was great to see Daniel there. We had Marianne from EI, and she's great fun as well. And Carolina Muralha from Casa Portuguesa as well. So great Dream Team session. Terrible England match. Oh my God, the agony. If you're a Portugal and England fan, what a terrible Euros it has. I mean, fair play to Portugal for winning, but the agony of watching your team. Although, is there a football team that a country enjoys watching? Is there a national football team where the fans just think, I mean, maybe Brazil, not at the moment, but back in the day, you could just know that if your team were playing and you were Brazilian, it was going to be great fun and you were probably going to win. Or am I just am I not seeing that right? Am I just projecting onto the experience of other teams and fans around the world? And it was nice to watch the England game. The upside of watching the England game at Tudor's Welsh Bar yesterday was to have one of his homemade sausage rolls. It's been so exciting in the town. Homemade sausage rolls by Tudor with a splash of daddy's sauce. Now, if you're going to make a sauce in this day and age, and I've been watching the film that is the story of Kellogg's versus Post, and the way that products used to be innovated, or a little sort of spoof based on that. Would you call a condiment daddy's sauce if you're inventing it in this day and age? I suspect not. So a lovely sausage roll splattered with daddy's sauce at Tudor's Wine Bar. And not only that in San Martino de Porto, but the opening of not our new supermarket, but the refurb of the Intermarché. Coach Turner may have been there when he stayed in San Martino de Porto. We'll come to him after this. It is risen. The Intermarché in San Martino de Porto has been refurbed and is now reopened. Let's give a nice big round of applause and talk to the one and only Coach Turner, live from his kitchen. Good morning to you. This is
Bon dia.
Breakfast telly for sure, right? There you are in the area of breakfast preparation. How are you? Tudo bem? Como estás?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well.
Good
Enjoying actually some rare sunshine. It's been rather lovely this week.
Oh, that's nice to know. A little warm up. You've been taking care of the sunshine for us, and I think we might have some of it soon over here in Portugal, where it should be. That's why we moved here. More about that later, because I see, Coach, you are ready. We'll talk. I think you'll come closer to the camera and we'll chat about the wonderful gift you've given us of the God Squad tips of the day and the collection of tips that is the God Squad program over at the Portugal Club. But first of all, I think you wanted to give a little bit more explanation because we were giggling, weren't we, yesterday about the falling over training?
Yeah, well, it was something that popped up. Somebody mentioned down at the track they were working with people that were sort of 65, 70, so my age, and trying to improve their ability to recover from a trip. Because, you know, we all do it, especially if we're out walking. It's very easy to catch your foot. I probably do it, you know, when I go down to coffee, I'll probably do that 2 or 3 times on my way down to coffee.
All right.
So, you know, I know, particularly from my dad, because he fell over, broke hip, shoulder, and he never really recovered.
Yes,
so,
that can
really
happen.
Important.
Yeah.
We lose that innate ability to recover from trips because you know we learn it as a child. We keep reinforcing it, but as we get older and less active, we tend to lose that ability because your nervous system slows down quite naturally. But you need to reinforce those important movements. So it was just, I was chatting with this guy he's really a personal trainer rather than a coach, but I guess that's the same thing really.
Yes, we'll discuss that. Let's discuss that in a moment because that is that's the new term for a coach, is it not? Anyway.
Well, sort of. It depends what you're doing. I mean, I coach a specific event. I don't train people.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Anyway, we'll go there in a minute, maybe.
Yeah.
But the exercise I suggested yesterday was a really simple one, and you can do it within your own abilities. And it just literally is falling forward and just putting your foot out. So it's that. But of course, you can make it more extreme by going that far, and then it becomes almost a proper lunge rather than the recovery lunge. So you can do that forwards, both legs, of course, but you can do it that way because you might trip that way, or you can do it that way so you're going out diagonally. So all of those you can do well within your own capability, and as you do it a little more, you become more competent at it. So it's really for those people that are feeling a little unsteady. They need to practice, and then they become A, more confident, and B, they get better because their nervous system is wired to that reaction.
Yes.
So it's really simple, but quite difficult to explain in words.
No, I think we got it, and we were just being a bit giggly and silly, but it's very important what.
That's why we watch your show, Carl.
Silly and giggly. It's an important part of the training, isn't it? For sure. But this is great, and I really hear what you're saying because life is training, isn't it, and habits really. And so those when you're a child, when you're learning to walk, you develop strategies to help you to learn to walk. So why not develop and learn strategies to help should you feel yourself falling in older age where that's likely? And you've got this, we do have this psychological conversation going on, don't we? Like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. It's terrible to fall. And we don't necessarily do anything proactive, which is exactly what you're teaching us now, is something proactive to retrain the brain to have an instant and an instinctive response to finding yourself in that challenging situation.
It is creating that instinctive response, which is, of course, is what I do to coach sprint athletes, because that movement has to be completely instinctive. You can't think about it because that just slows you down.
That's 10 seconds gone right there, isn't it? While you think
just like that. Well, when you think you can't blink fast enough for the difference between a winner and a second place.
Yes, yeah.
That's
you're
when you
absolutely right.
realise, oh, hang on a minute.
Well, that's
You've kind
it.
of got to deal with every single thousandth of a second.
And even if you're not an athlete, if you think about walking when you're walking, that's an easy way to fall over, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. You think, oh, hang on. Which is why, I think, was it last week or week before, I was suggesting you can only concentrate on one thing at a time when you're trying to improve.
Yeah, absolutely.
The same, I apply that to sprint athletes, which is why, of course, it takes such a long while to get the sprint athlete from, maybe a talented youngster to actually winning races. It takes probably 18 months, 2 years, because you can only deal with one issue at a time.
But the human mind thinks it can deal with everything, doesn't it? It's like, come on, coach, give me all you got. I've only got a week.
Especially male minds.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay,
so just the other exercise. I can't see if you can even see me at the moment.
Well, you are in full frame, which is great, and we get two of you. We can see you in the mirror image, which is very good, and we can see you full body as well.
The other exercise, which again we forget, is just being able to put our hands out when we fall. So if you're probably better off if you do have a bad fall, you're better off putting your arms out and maybe breaking a wrist than you are breaking shoulders and hips.
Yeah.
I know that's a bit sort of negative, but it's the reality of the situation.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, you just stand, near a wall and just fall. Just do that. Just be able to do that. And remember how to do it, because we all do it naturally up to a certain age, and then we've forgotten how to do it. So keep doing it. So that really.
That's really good. And can you get the lasagna out the oven while you're there? I mean, all of these things can be combined together, can't they? This is a bit while you're in the kitchen waiting for the kettle to boil. You could put a couple of dumbbells in the kitchen, can't you? While you're waiting for the kettle to boil, you've got a couple of minutes of standing exercise if you want it, or do exactly
bottles of water or milk or
tins of beans. Tins of beans. There you go. Multitasking and doing what the coach has shown us.
I'll come closer.
While you're getting yourself set up closer, I'm going to play a role model. Let's go to Les now, by special request, and we'll chat some more with the coach after this.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad you liked Misty's debut last week. She's fast asleep. We found out it's a boy, and he's fast asleep on my daughter's bosoms. I don't think he's going to move from there today, so I don't think you'll see him unless Sally takes a picture and shows you where he is. Anyway, a gentleman called Cole Munston asked if I could do a song called Welcome to My World. I think I can manage it, even though I've never sung it before. It was originally by Jim Reeves, but also later by Elvis Presley and Engelbert Humperdinck. So here we go. It's only a very short song. Welcome to my world. Won't you come on in? Miracles, I guess, still happen now and then. Step into my heart. Leave your cares behind. Welcome to my world, built with you in mind. Knock and the door shall open, seek and you shall find. Ask and you'll be given the key to this world of mine.
Excuse me.
I'll be waiting there with my arms unfurled, waiting just for you. Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world.
93. How about that? Growing old disgracefully, and he's a legend, local legend, lives here on the Silver Coast. I've been at a party with Les, loves to dance with all the ladies. and he knows how to enjoy his life, and occasionally has an episode in a restaurant, much to his daughter's chagrin and panic. And then he'll come round and go, I'm okay. What a bloke. And I asked if he would sing Welcome to My World, because they've got a new kitten. Sadly, the old kitten Shadow, you might have seen this if you're a fan of Les and you like his music, you might have seen Shadow in the earlier video. Sadly, was in a road traffic collision outside their house, and now Misty has been welcomed to their world there. So there's Les talking about bosoms as well at 93. What a lad, eh?
I suppose his next song has to be Play Misty for me.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to say that's your request of him there, Ian. So, yeah, thank you very much for your earlier demonstration. Always nice to bring it alive with a video and a little bit of show and tell, rather than just trying to get it in your mind's eye. And thank you generally for the wonderful God Squad tips of the day. It's always nice to get the opportunity to thank you for those. Excellent service to this community, and a nice moment, I suppose, to remind ourselves that we want to grow old disgracefully. That was your name for it. Having fun while staying in shape. The balance is important, isn't it? I mean, pardon the pun. You've been talking about balance this morning.
Well, I probably mental health is,
Yes.
Is enjoying yourself.
Yes.
And I guess as we age, it becomes maybe more difficult to keep your mental health on a balance. Though we're obviously slightly less erratic than we were in our teenage years.
Some of us, yeah.
yeah. And it's kind of interesting. I mentioned last week that I was struggling a bit, because having planned our road trip and then been on it, and of course it's like all holidays and trips, it's always a bit of an anticlimax when you finish. And come back home, and it's always lovely to get back home, but I need something else to concentrate on now and focus. So looking to spend another month or so in Portugal early next year, exploring other bits.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
Well, recognizing that about yourself, that's key to it. I mean, that's the mindfulness that James talks about every Monday, isn't it? As a younger man, you might have just had that feeling of like, the anticlimax of the holiday, and just busied yourself with something.
Well, we're probably at work.
Exactly, yeah, cracking on
about work and
cracking on and getting distracted.
Children and families and wives.
Exactly.
And
yes,
we've got too much on.
You make a good point. So as your life clears a little bit and you've got a bit of space to think, it's not just what might be called the good thoughts. The other thoughts come in, don't they? The undermining and somewhat more demanding and darker thoughts might come in. And that's where it's good to know yourself and have a little bit of a mindful look around and think to yourself, oh, okay, I get what's going on here, as you did. We need to plan another trip. What result? We're going to need a bigger boat. Yeah, fantastic. Right, and I think we're doing our best here to tick all those boxes. You're here every weekday morning with something for the body, for sure. And I know it's not, there is a danger in that over rationalization of James does the mind bits, the coach does the body bits, and goodness only knows who does the spiritual bits. I think all these things overlap, and overlap they should, right, Ian?
Oh, totally. We are holistic beings, aren't we?
We are holistic beings. Let the world know we are. Yeah, we are holistic beings. Absolutely.
So I certainly keeping fit, or vaguely fit, helps. I believe.
Yes.
Well, you found that when you were doing your sort of exercise regime.
It is it was funny that you should put it in the past tense. But that's the nature of these things, isn't it? And it is actually fascinating, because a lot of people refer to it in the past tense, and I have an odd feeling when I drive past the old gym and think I used to go in there. However, I've been doing pool cleaning and gardening, which I consider to be quite strenuous activities. And what I learned, I don't know, maybe I'd welcome your comment on this. Training is almost, it seems to be like you push and you focus, and it's like stretching an elastic band. You don't stay at the complete stretch. It contracts a little bit, but the rubber band has been stretched beyond the limits of the last iteration of your rubber band of fitness and well-being and so on. So I think I've embedded, although I'm not in the peak that I was when I was doing the program that I was doing last year, and that was based on, you know, getting interested in the whole thing with you from 2 years before that. Although I haven't maintained that level, I haven't gone back to the level I started at. And I think that's progress.
Yeah, it is. Certainly, you know, if I put that in terms of what we do with athletes, you have to push them beyond where they've been before.
Yep.
They rarely get back to that, but they do move forward. And that's kind of the same thing, I guess.
And it's worth remembering that that's how it works. So you don't give yourself. This is the human mind loves you know, something to beat itself up with. We do that as our human nature. But remember, you've made some progress. You might have instilled some new habits. And I think the drip feed that you offer every morning is a little bit of a reminder for everybody. So again, I thank you for that. It kind of puts it on the table, doesn't it? It's like, maybe I could be thinking about that. And I know as well, you'll know better than me that the people are working on these tips. They might not say so in the chat, but there are people who've taken the God Squad mission quite seriously. I think you've met along your travels who've been prompted and done something about it. So, year of celibacy. Did you feel? I did have a year of celibacy actually when I was a very miserable and earnest 21 or 2-year-old. Can you imagine that, trying to be celibate when you're 21 or 22? I managed it as well, I've got to say. It was quite the year. And did I feel fitter? I was doing a regime of press-ups and sit-ups at the time too. It was quite the year. Did I feel fitter? I don't know. I'm not sure.
I had a year of celibacy around that time, but it wasn't deliberate.
Not out of wanting. Yes. Yeah. Well, this was self-imposed. What was I thinking? Right. Okay. It does have its benefits, I think. But yeah, thank you for that, Paul. And well done to anyone who is, who has been prompted by the coach's messages in the morning, and a little bit, just doing a little bit every day. That's part of it, isn't it? Ian, is not to be overburdening yourself and trying to start a regime that you'll never keep up. A little and often, it long term is going to be more powerful, isn't it, than something faddy?
Totally. Absolutely right. It's like, when we finish chatting, I'm going to disappear off down the road for a walk to the coffee shop. It becomes a habit.
Daily habit.
I'm not sure the coffee's a good habit, but the walk is.
Well, we can always find a newspaper headline that tells you coffee's good for you, and the red wine one. We keep those handy because we are growing old disgracefully, with the emphasis on the disgracefully for a moment. You can always find a research project that comes up with some good findings about coffee and red wine. Keep those close to hand. Right,
and chocolate
is probably everything, to be fair. Right, this is the classroom section of the Portugal Club. You can find that at GMP VIP, and there's lots of little mini courses, all sorts of information there that you might find useful. And of course, if you subscribe to us, if you support the channel, you get access to all of this, and in there you will find the God Squad Gentle Fitness for Bon Viveurs right there. It's just one of the many things available to you. You can start your own podcast. Oh, talking of starting podcasts and YouTube channels, we'll celebrate James's launch and thrust this morning with his first episode out on the Old Guy in Europe. But just to conclude on this particular part of the conversation, you can get if I click on that, does that go through? Are you seeing that? Yes, you are. It's all laid out there. Do you remember when we were putting this together, coaches?
Yeah.
4 sections. You've got the basic principles, stepping it up a little bit, building strength, getting into running a little bit as well. But you do what works for you on this, and you take it easy. And there's some bonus stuff from Garvo in there. And if you've got something you want to contribute to the God Squad tips of the day, you let us know, and we'll make sure they're in there for the benefit of others as well, because that's how we roll as Gumpers. So you can sign up to that. And if a lot of people want to do that, I guess we're always up for having a little WhatsApp group, aren't we? And giving people a bit of daily motivation. And
if you've got any questions that I'm vaguely qualified to answer, I'll happily help.
Thank you very much. So thanks again. And thanks coming in from Oregon. Look, Oregonians loving Portugal. How are you doing, OLP? Great to see you here this morning. Thank you for staying up and being with us. How are things going for you? And visions of not being able to lift a potato keep me doing my 84 burpees a week. The spectre of the non-potato lift there. He does 84 burpees a week. What would be your comment on that? Bless you.
Respect.
Yes.
I hate burpees.
Oh, and that's where you do a kind of frog position, right? And bring your knees up to your shoulders and back again. Is that a burpee?
Yeah, and then jump up as well.
My goodness.
That's a burpee.
While shouting out, hooah!
Hooah! Yeah,
as I'm sure James does when he's doing that. Bon dia todos. Great to see Coach on the screen today. I'll listen as I take a brisk walk with Gustavo this morning. And Bob is in fantastic shape. He's a role model, isn't he? For everything.
He's super fit.
Well done, Bob. Keep it up. Oh, and a press up. So 84 burpees plus an honorary press up as well. Keep it up. Keep up the good work. You mentioned popping to the coffee shop. Before you go, can you stay and say a few hellos to everyone who's here this morning and maybe answer a few questions? There you were this morning at 7:53. Looking forward to joining a little later. And here you are right now before popping out to coffee and your God Squad tip of the day. Have you done this now? You have, haven't you? I'm basically
we've done that one.
Yeah, okay.
Easier to show than to say.
Show and tell, absolutely. Right, man of the moment then, James, the old guy, the fit old guy in Europe. Let's look at a little bit of a rebrand on that this morning. And the excited fit old guy this morning who's launched his YouTube channel. I've put the link for that in the chat, so make sure, please, that you've subscribed. Statistically, if we were politicians, we could boast that we've boosted the subscription, I think, from our community by thousands of percent probably by now. It doubled certainly from 1 to 2 while we were on air, I think, last week. And I think he's into double digits now. So well done and congratulations on getting that together. Motivation right there and a learning curve, obviously, like with anything, learning how to edit the videos. And I think he's gained a little bit of, he's closer to mastery. His mindful moment of the day. And I love the combo. Thank you both. Thank you, Coach. And thank you, James. In the mornings, we get mindful moments as well as the God Squad tip of the day. The mindful moment this morning, the attempt to escape from pain creates more pain. That's Gabor Mate. And what an amazing man Gabor Mate is. I was listening to a podcast with him on yesterday, talking with him, actually, talking about him with Mrs. M before we started this morning as well. I was nearly late because of that, talking about Gabor Mate. Very good. And the dad joke. We love these too. Something for your funny bone. I set my password to incorrect. So every time I get my password wrong, it tells me your password is incorrect. Very good. Excellent stuff. Milane is in. Good morning, Gumpers. Get one of those for that, James. Antonio F. With greetings for you there. We love our community here. Feel Good Friday vibes. Let us know what you're doing. If you have done anything towards making yourself feel better on the level of mind, body, spirit, preferably all. And what are you doing this weekend? Let us know. It's Friday, says Milane, over at Winsurance. And there's a beautiful blue sky in Lisbon. Maybe summer is here, Ian, I think. And we've got that same weather that you've been having in the UK. Anyone can make the simple complicated, adds Milane this morning. Creativity is making the complicated simple. Why be a dingus when you can be a mingus, is what I would say to that. That's Charlie Mingus there. Thank you very much for that. And not bad for the first day of summer, but it will be better at the weekend. So with England playing, I guess there are a few flags of St. George or Union Jacks around the place. People enjoying watching a bit of football in that summer sun. The vibes are pretty good, are they, until the team play?
Surprisingly few, actually.
Seriously?
Yeah, every other tournament we've had, going back, I guess, probably 20 years, they've been everywhere, but there are very few here. You know, normally they have those little flags that clip on the cars.
Yeah, we've got those over here.
Every other car normally has them. Very, very few. So I don't know whether it's... no idea why. No idea. Okay,
well, I mean, one theory might be that there are too many calls on our attention at the moment. I think you might be having an election over there. Did someone
something like that? Yeah, actually, my postal vote went off today. So
well done, well done. And the Olympics. Now, I've been banging on about how little we've heard about the Olympics. You must be interested in the Olympics as an athletics coach. Why so little publicity for the Olympics in Paris?
Yeah, I don't know whether it's a French thing or. I mean, well, I say what that seriously. Mean? Whether they're a bit like Portugal, they don't market stuff.
Oh, okay. Right.
You know, it's just that really. When we were driving through France, what's a month ago now, every service station had clothing which was Olympic branded. So it's not like it doesn't exist in France.
Well, that's reassuring.
But it's quite quiet here, at least among the sort of general population.
Weird,
Of course,
isn't it?
you know, the guys that I see pretty much 2 or 3 times a week training down at the track, who are Olympians and will be in the squad,
Yeah.
they're quite excited.
I bet they are. I bet they are. And there is plenty of TV coverage if people want it, right? It can be found.
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay.
Well, we've
And-
just had the European Athletics. That was last week, beginning of last week.
Right.
And that was quite good fun.
So maybe you're right. Maybe it's a French thing. And, you know, you mentioned the Olympics and you just get a Gallic shrug about it. Yeah. And perhaps once it's started, I'm looking forward to the opening ceremony is always good fun, isn't it? And I hope the French have gone to town on that. So when does it actually start, Ian?
Oh, good question. I think it's the last week of July, somewhere around then.
All right.
I don't know exactly. The UK, this is athletics, trials are not this weekend, but next weekend.
Right.
So they're coming up. So we'll
In
see.
due course, got the Euros. Then we've got the local and warm up sort of athletics championships around the world by the sound of it, and then the Olympics themselves and Wimbledon to come. So a very quite a rich sporting calendar. We also had a mention of rugby coming up. We'll come to your comment, Rugby Conlar, who had a great time at Ali Sarah with the beach rugby. That sounds like such a tough game. It really does. Forecast says during the weekend it'll be around 38 degrees. So the summer is coming here. Talking of politics, I did give the 300 days of sun idea that we're meant to have here in Portugal. I gave that to the political people who are working on the election. They managed to look at that for me so that they could reframe and find a new angle on Portugal's 300 days of sun, which Tony Bryant, the Portuguese, has given me a hard time for on social media. The political people have come up with 300 days worth of sunshine, which I think is great. So well done.
That's quite clever.
It is, isn't it? It is. And so there's still time for that to come true. And then they can rebrand it again in December. Should it not come true?
I actually thought it was 300. It was the Algarve that was 300 days of sunshine, not the rest of Portugal. But
well, Silver Coast, at least 295. Let me tell you. I mean, not as hot as the Algarve, but at least the sun's showing itself. And morning to you, Gemini. I'm talking of the Algarve and sunshine. Paul, greetings from a hot Algarve. All right, Paul. Summer is here with temperatures reaching 33 this weekend. However, we do have a gentle sea breeze, so fun in the sun time. Nice one. Prepare your sunblocks, hats, water, wine. See, that's how the Portuguese prepare. Thanks, Milene, for that. Make sure you got wine in that mix and have fun. Boa sexta-feira, Portugal, from João Ernesto and Jones here as well. Morning to you, John, and to you, Joan. Bon dia a todos. And look, talking of role models in older age, whilst saging here, I launched premiere episodes 1 and 2 of An Old Guy in Europe this morning. Excited to see what happens next. So please do subscribe and well done. Hooah! I think he should get his hooah for that. Where did I put the hooah? I don't think of this in advance, James, as I think you might be aware here. And for the life of me, hooah! I can find it. There you go. So well done, mate. Parabéns and hooah! More power to your video editing elbow. 23 even in the Minho, where you've been, of course. You drove through there, didn't you? The Minho region.
We did. Xeres.
23, not too bad at all. Anna's here as well. Good morning to you, Anna. Bon dia a todos from VRSA. Today is the big midsummer celebration in Sweden. Oh, of course, I will enjoy my day at the beach. Tell us if we want to nod in the direction of Sweden and the midsummer celebration, what should we be doing? I imagine there's a little bit of booze involved in that as well, and the eating of some fish possibly. Maybe step one back, coach, back one step, coach, so we can see the top of your head. Too late for that. You can see him in his full glory on the screen right now. Tomorrow at 2 p.m, the young, inexperienced Welsh rugby team take on the world champion South Africa. Will you be watching that, coach?
To be honest, I didn't know it was on.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I will.
Maybe you will then. Well then. Paul Richards does. Thanks, Colin, for that. Does alcohol help when falling? In the early stages, it can, right? You're not aware of the damage you've done to yourself, but we don't recommend it, do we?
We don't. It's a very good question. There's an argument that when you're rather three sheets to the wind,
yes,
you're so relaxed that you just sort of collapse rather than fall. You don't tense. It's when you tense up that you can do more damage. So there is an argument for saying it's not quite so bad.
And the pain
of course,
relief.
it dulls any pain, but
Yep.
it's not really recommended, especially behind the wheel of a car.
And your imagination that you have superhuman skills can go horribly wrong too under the influence of alcohol. Although,
You're back to the celibacy thing again, aren't you?
Yes, never far away from the spectre of celibacy. But I do remember having a glass in one hand and a kebab in the other and falling over once. And that miraculous thing, if we could just extract from the mindset of the falling drunk. In my mind now, as I recall it, I did a forward roll, didn't spill a drop or any of the kebab, and kind of got up, went da-da, and all of it, all of my
perfect
still there in my hands. Now, if we could do that without having to spend that much on booze to acquire those skills, there's a book in there. There's a book in there. OLP is in with a bon dia to all you lovely gumpers. Happy summer. Thank you very much. It is officially. So it's a weird one, isn't it, Coach? Because it was described as the beginning of summer yesterday on the 20th of June because of the alignment of certain things. The equinox.
Leap year.
Yes. It is a leap year as well, isn't it? Yes. Okay.
That's why. Otherwise, it would be the 21st.
Why it wasn't the 21st. Okay, that's interesting. But it's funny, isn't it? It's almost like rational gaslighting, isn't it? Because it's like you're told it's summertime. But it's like your senses are telling you it's not. Your actual experience of life is it's not summer as we know it, even though on paper it's meant to be. Celebrating longest day of the year with nice food, drinks, dancing around. Hey, that's a euphemism if ever I heard one. And I quite like the sound of that. Dancing around the midsummer pole, making flower wreaths, and midnight bathing as well. The Swedes know how to enjoy summer. Do they not? I think that sounds all right. Bon dia Malta. Tuck and roll.
Like the rest of the year.
That's true. They make the most of it, don't they? So a couple more comments before you go. I know you probably want to get away and have your well-earned coffee now. Walking is basically controlled falling, isn't it? It is, isn't it?
To a certain extent. So is running.
Yes.
Even more so.
Yes. Yes. You're leaning over and not falling. Lean over, not fall. Lean over, not fall. Lean over, not fall until it's in the muscle. And tuck and roll, boys. Tuck and roll. So I did have a fall, as you described, myself a few months ago, and it was a wake-up call. Well, and I luckily I fell on the dog, so that's another reason to get a dog to break your fall as well. But no,
you break the dog.
Fortunately, I didn't break Jimmy. He was a little surprised, but my foot caught a little upraised. This is a Portuguese thing. It upraised cobblestone. Yeah, and I did put my hand down in an instinctive way, and people might think of you when they fall. Imagine that, Coach. People have a trip. Like, I remember what Coach Turner said as they go over, and you're the last thought as they perform a successful.
It always seems, it's like any sort of accident. It sort of happens in slow motion, doesn't it?
It does, and you think to yourself,
"How did I not prevent that?"
Yeah, and this is probably going to hurt quite soon.
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Ah! Right. Yes. Right. Thank you very much indeed, Coach, for all you do for us. You are the rock and roll of tuck and roll. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll take that.
long may it continue. Bon fin de semana, and see you again soon. See you on Monday.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
All right. Bon fin de semana. Cheers.
Bye, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
There you go. There goes the coach. We're going to hang out now. Talking of legends, Bobby can't be with us this morning. He's traveling again, extolling the virtues. I think that's right. Should I have looked up extol before I said it out loud? Extolling the virtues, telling people about Portugal all around the world. And we do have a little bit of footage. There we go. It's an update from the site. That's coming along nicely, isn't it? I remember being there in the marketing suite, which I think you can see at the end there. Yep, you can see the marketing suite. And work is coming along nicely, is it not? Look at this. Quite incredible. So love some drone footage. Well done, Pedro. I think some of you have met Pedro as well. If you've come along to any of our events where Bobby and I have been filming, Pedro's been there. And now he's got a new skill under his belt, that of a drone pilot as well, a drone photographer. But it's coming on nicely. I love that distant view there. And look at all that greenery. around you there. Look at all that green around Herdad de Mayo. Herdad do Mayo, D-O, if you're looking it up online there. But there it is. And this eventually is what it's going to look like. Look at that. Amazing. Coming together nicely, Bobby. Bon fin semana to you as well, Bobby. Nice big round of applause. HerdadDeMayo.com. Let's hang out then for the next 20 minutes or so. We've got some events from Bairandi, who's on the screen at the moment. Tuck and roll, boys. Tuck and roll. And we, of course, celebrated with Les. Welcome to our world. Welcome, little Misty, into the world of Les and Sally here on the Silver Coast. Role models all over the place here. Les, 93, still singing and publishing a song every week, or sometimes a poem on social media. Cheers, Antonio F. Hello, Squire. Good to see you last night on YouTube for the Dream Team session. How are things going, Squire? Good morning to you. Keep up the good work. Thinking about you and fingers crossed for you and everything you and family are involved with your adventure in life. Yeah, hang on in there, mate. Good morning from the home of the world champions, the Boston. Now, do you say Celtics? Is it a hard C or the Celtics? I wonder. I've got a feeling you say Celtics. I think I've heard Americans saying Celtic rather, or is it Portuguese who say Celtic rather than Celtic? I don't know is the answer to that, but the world champions, the Boston Celtics or Celtics, I'm sure I'm going to be put right on that. And James's channel then, if you want to subscribe, please do. Even if you don't want to subscribe, do it anyway. Let's get those numbers up and let's get him monetized so that he can retire wealthy and rich, YouTube millionaire. Probably only needs another 2 million views and 1,000 subscribers to get in that condition, but you never know. Love the chat, but I have to go back to sleep. Championship parade in a couple of hours. Stay safe, everyone. Cheers, Alan. Thank you for being here with mention of the Boston Celtics or Celtics. Have we got a hard C? Celtics. Thank you very much. There you go. Herdad de Mayo. There's the proper. I was trying to explain. And show and tell is always better, as we discovered with the coach this morning. Thank you for your Celtics there, James, and the correct spelling of Herdad de Mayo. Oh, to be clear, hold on a minute. An old guy in Europe is not a podcast or a live stream. I guess it's called a vlog, recorded for replay and to be viewed at your leisure. Obrigado a todos! As well, and more rugby chat coming in. Let's make sure we've said hello to everyone this morning. I don't really want to talk anymore about my year of celibacy. More details of that in my autobiography. It's all connected. Hey, where did we get to? Oh, there we go. We got to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe there and have a great day, Alan, when you get up and celebrate the Celtics a little bit later on. I don't think I've watched basketball for 20 years. Enjoy the day, Boston. And I need to show you something. Probably Alan and James and even John here, Joao Ernesto, will be able to help me. At the end of our street is a children's playground, which has been long in the development. I think they started work up there about 18 months ago. And in the last couple of days, 2 basketball hoops have gone in. And the weird thing is, I'm going to take a photo or a video for you. The weird thing is, they're not opposite each other. They're like diagonally. They're not even diagonal. One is at one end facing an empty space, which you would expect to be a basketball hoop. And then there's another one at the other end, on the other side of this basketball hoop. And unless there's a new version, or that's Portuguese basketball, I'm not sure that's how it's supposed to work. OLP loves the Celtics. And still in Portugal, says Anna. Sea temperatures around 12 now, up to 18. I know rising to 18. I know it has been a very warm weather in Stockholm in the last couple of weeks. So they'll be swimming in Stockholm, will they? And is the sea temperature there at 12 in Stockholm, I wonder? Tell us more about that. Boston is a beautiful city, mainly in winter, says Milen, who knows a thing or two about American cities by the sound of it. And by the way, the Celtics, I know how to say it now, did have a Portuguese player on the team. He's from Lisboa. Very good. And yeah, thanks coming in for the coach and all he does for the community. And great to see you here, Bob, this morning. Congratulations to Anemias Keita, the first Portuguese player to win a championship with the Boston Celtics. Very good. Thank you very much. Oh, not just a press up, James's fitness regime, but a press up with each burpee. Good work, sir. Aviva's in as well. Bon fin semana, igualmente. To see, congratulations to you, Slug Man, on your new podcast. Very good. Alison also here with a cowabunga, James. To you as well there, James. Last celebration, quite rightly, about your new YouTube channel. Fantastic. Good luck with that, mate. Bussort. Forza, Slugman. Also at Twickenham at 5 p.m, the Barbarians take on Fiji. Sports fans will not be getting off the sofa tomorrow, both on Sky Sports. Looks fantastic, Bobby. Joao Ernesto, the feedback for Bobby's development there. Memes. Oh, yes, of course. And events as well. Joao Ferreira, good to see you, my friend. Good morning, everybody. Hope I am still in time to attend at least a bit of the show. You absolutely are. Great to see you this morning. And talking of sport, Tour de France starts soon as well. Now, that's real stamina. Those basketball hoops are just for practice. Oh, I see. So you can have 2 people practicing rather than people fighting over one hoop. I see. You can't picture that, so I will do a little video to show you that so we can get confirmation on that. And bon fin semana from Owen as well. Good morning to you, Owen. Good to see you, mate. How are you doing? And a nice big Joao from James for Joao there as well. For it could be for you, Joao de Nort. I think it's probably for Joao Ferreira because we haven't seen him for a few days and after a long absence as well. Great to see you at the meetup. Meetup news. Now, I showed you the video. I'll show you again now. There's lots going on in San Martino de Porto at the moment. Oh, I've got some lovely memes to show you, actually, including the ones that you sent me as well, James. But in case you weren't here at the beginning, very exciting in San Martino de Porto. And that excitement continues. I need your help on something for next week. It's gone up in the world. See that bloke looking at me? Why is that guy filming in the supermarket? It's only a flipping supermarket. Well, you might say that, but it's been shut for a little while. It was always a little bit, I don't know what the best description is. It wasn't the most uplifting of retail experiences. Don't get me wrong, very glad, very lucky to have provisions at all in its earlier form, but it's been juste. It's had a few nice little retail flourishes in there, and we've got a cafe again. So come on down to San Martino de Porto. Let's have coffee at the Intermarché Cafe. And all over the country, Intermarché do a very good lunch. So maybe, you see, maybe that's where we will have our, I call it the Storytellers Lunch. We're not doing that. For anyone who was thinking of coming to the Storytellers Lunch next Wednesday here in San Martino de Porto, unfortunately, we're going to have to move the date of the San Martino de Porto Storytellers Lunch, which leaves us with a new venue to find for next Wednesday, the 26th. Now, where do you think we should go? If you know San Martino de Porto, we're looking for a new venue for next, it's the 4th Wednesday of the month, where we have a little bit of a special lunch. Normally at the Storytellers, they can't fit us in next week on that day. So we'll have a look at going to a different venue, do something a little bit different. If you've got a suggestion for that, do let me know. And why not come and join us, come and see us? Maybe not Intermarché, not that it's a bad place to go, but maybe something a little bit special. I'll take what I can get. So he's gonna have that, Joao. And I'm sorry, not so loud. Yes, turn it down a bit, please, James. Is that the same Intermarché where we had our frozen meat pies? No, that particular delicacy was pingados over there in Obidos, of course. Olympic Games, thanks OLP. Olympic Games from July the 26th through to August the 11th. And those are for pickup games, usually 2-on-2 or just to practice shooting. Okay, so that mystery explained there. Infusion, that's a good suggestion, the Infusion Cafe, but I want to keep it. It's called the San Martino de Porto Meetup for a reason, Colin, and as tempted as I am to come over to Infusion, those two brothers who run that are great Portuguese guys, one of them on the hospitality side, one of them in the kitchen. It's a great combination, and the food is very good. If you're ever in Obidos, go to Infusion's Cafe, but I'm looking for something in the Bay. What can you come and join us? I think we've got, we may even have Gilda and Nuno joining us next week. So it's got to be special if Gilda's coming over. To Joao F, why am I not surprised that it was shameless from the old guy in Europe? He's growing old disgracefully. I must admit, your Intermarché was a bit grubby when we visited. You can say that now it's been upgraded. Good to see it's been revamped. And yes, Antonio, thank you for the dates on this. We've got the Olympics on the 26th of July, and the Tour de France will start on the 29th. Volta a Portugal on July the 24th. What a great summer for sports fans. And Vuelta a España on August the 17th. No time for shame. No, absolutely no blame, shame, and guilt. What do you think the cutoff point, James, should be for getting rid of blame, shame, and guilt? I would say about 5 years old. Just as you're about to develop it as a social coping strategy and a way of dealing with traumatic situations, let's dispense with it, shall we? How about that? A world beyond shame, blame, guilt, anger, and revenge, and all those, all such things. Far too much of that sort of stuff in the world. Right, let's have a look at James's memes then while we've got his comment on the screen, and a few others I've been saving and not had time to share with you. And the events from Bairrandi, things going on in the Bairrada. Oh, and talking about growing old disgracefully, there was one that we had earlier on this week, when you finally pay all your debts and start enjoying your youth. There you go. That's a good one. Oh, and this weekend, of course, in Lisbon, June 22nd, that'll be tomorrow then, between 5 and 9, is Steve White's property networking event. Network with property professionals and services, both locally and beyond your community. Anyone interested in property development, real estate, that sort of thing, might like to go along to that. That's in Lisbon. If you're struggling to scan that on the screen in the time you have available to you to grab your phone, to grab your phone. I just feel like I've got a QR code repeating on me. Just drop me a line, and I'll make sure you get Steve's Home Miners Property Investment presentation networking event tomorrow happening in Lisbon. Other memes then from James this morning. Yeah, here we go. Sometimes life is like this, isn't it? Paint the mandala and control your stress. Get those crayons out and let off a bit of steam there. Get a few things off your chest. Live long and prosper. Both with pointy ears in the picture on your right there. There you go. Live long and prosper for all you cat fans. And I must admit, John, as well, I had a moment with my cat, Jenny. Yes, she who tries to kill me at most other times of the day and night. We had a lovely little moment. It was like when she first turned up and was all over me, yowling and nibbling and just being pleased to be alive and just basically telling me, I am coming to live with you now. I had a little rekindling of that. So it's not all bad with me and the cats. Lovely little moment this morning. Onward with the memes then that have caught my attention. If you've got any, send them in to 913-590-303. And do let us know what your plans are. We've only got a few minutes left on the Good Morning Portugal show this morning. Closing out the week, heading into the weekend for a bon fin semana. Putting the sex in sexta-feira. No celibacy here now. My dad, when I open up a bag of candy in the backseat of the car, I do that now myself. I am the person performing the downward swan as I hear a bag of candy being opened on the backseat of the car. And consider this. People can't take advantage of you if you are useless. There you go. And another one. They just keep coming. The memes just keep coming. And a few other things that we haven't resolved this week. If you've sent me something on 913-590-303 and I haven't shown it, do try again, please, this morning, or just remind me and we'll get that squeezed in this morning. Oh, cheers, Pete. Pete's done exactly that. And I've got a mention of Sarah Millican as well, because I've got a little bit of a mention of British comedians and something we could do in relation to British comedians who seem to be coming over more and doing Lisbon dates at the moment. Come back to that in just a moment because Pete was a Sarah Millican gig. And he's just sent me details of the Orca Sardine Festival. But look, given that June has now started, a little bit of practicing your Portuguese here. This was us back in January, was it not? Esta será meu ano. This will be my year, we said in January. And there we are. That's the state of us in June as we go into this long-awaited, that looks like the beach here at San Martino de Porto. That's me before I go into the water and have a swim there. Anyone who still washes up by hand, who does that? I haven't ever used a dishwasher unless I've been staying in other buildings with such facilities. Never owned a dishwasher in all my life. And I have been in houses that have had them and not used them. And then, of course, when you go to an Airbnb or whatever, there might be one. This is a good advert for getting a dishwasher. Me washing the dishes on the left there, and then a spoon can suddenly, as if it's got a mind of its own, absolutely spray you with water or some other thing. A good reason not to hand wash, although I still do that. Who here has a dishwasher or does like to do a little bit of hand washing? No pun or no no double entendre intended there. The late bloomer. This is Sarah Millican's tour at the moment, which has included, I think, Lisbon. That's where you were, Pete, was it not? And John, I was talking to Colin the other day, Rugby Colin, who's here among us as well this morning. What's he called? Who's the Scouse comedian? John. Can't remember his second name. But I suggested to Colin, why not get in touch with the management? If you have a favourite comedian, whether they be British or American, we've had Tamer Katan. He's a big name in the industry, in the business. He's our favourite comedian. If you have others that you would like to have on the show here, why not reach out to the management? Say, I'm a member of the Good Morning Portugal community. We see that Sarah's come in, that John's come in to Portugal to do a gig. Would they fancy calling into the show and having a chat with our community? Feel free to do that. And you don't need to limit it to comedians. If you've got musicians that you love that are coming and touring Portugal, why not talk to them here on the show? You could be on with them. In fact, if you make the connection with the management team, why not be on with me and talk to your favorite comedian, musician if they're touring Portugal, touring Europe, and we can get them on the show. Thank you, Pete, for this. Let's go into these events now, and a bit of foreplay in Orca when it comes to events, and that's the Sardinhada at Orca, and I'm seeing 23. Is that? I guess that's on Sunday then, rather than when it starts at 2300 hours. Probably both, in fact. It will start at 11 in the evening, and it's on the 23rd of June, this coming Sunday. Thank you very much, Pete. Very thoughtful for sending us that. Over to the Bairrada then for more sardine action. Things are getting a little bit fishy around the country. São João at Villaverde, Oliveira de Bairro, the old ODB up there in Bairrada. And we have been talking more and more, haven't we, about a trip to Bairrada. We've got to do... that's the other thing. I want to do it in November. We will reprise the fabulous Discovery Weekend we had in San Martino de Porto. I will host that. And we've got to do one in the Bairrada. We've got to go to the Korea Palace Hotel. I heard of the passing yesterday of Donald Sutherland, the great actor. I think he was made 88 years of age. And he was in Korea. They filmed a scene. He was in a movie that was filmed at the Korea Palace Hotel. And there are so many other wonderful things to do. The Sangalyosh Alianza Underground Museum. We'll get up there in the company of Bairradi in the Bairrada and have some fun up there at some point. Big screen football then. We've got another Portugal match tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock. Portugal are playing Turkey. Come along and watch the Portugal match on a big screen. It's free entry to join the locals eating roast pork rolls and drinking cervejas. Sausage rolls here at Tudor's Welsh Bar with a splash of Daddy's sauce. We'd never call it that now, would we? Celebrating another win for the mighty Portugal already. Bar opens at midday. Match starts at 5. That's the way to watch football. Fantastic. Thanks, Andy, for these. The São João Batista Fontão at Vagos. Lots of things going on at this festival in the super town of Vagos, near the fantastic beaches, but still with that local vibe. Cheers, Andy. And a couple more. All of these on the Gumper map, of course. Fun. Come along and have a great time at this super festival in the lovely Bustos. Do these towns, villages have something every weekend? It seems like it. This is the celebration of São João, of course, which is the big gig happening in Porto this weekend. So Bustos having a São João festival. And we've got gin, a super event. Visit the distillery in Levira, where the best gin, that's controversial, where the best gin produced in Portugal is made at a Festa de Verão summer festival there. It's well and truly begun. Summer here in Portugal. Bubbly, complimentary bubbly and gin. Taste their wares and have a convivial lunch. €6 for the Bifana lunch, 9 for the hog roll lunch. That sounds good, doesn't it? The hog roll lunch includes soup, main, dessert, drinks, and coffee. All for €9. How cool is that? And finally, then, in the Bairrada, as we come up to 10 o'clock this morning, the 20th Anadia Wine Festival. This is huge and goes on for several days. From the 19th, it's already started and will run through until the 23rd. Have fun if you're going to that. Good chance to go to the Anadia area, which is, of course, in the heart of the Bairrada. Cheers, Andy. Find all of those on the Gumper map. And I hope you have some boing this weekend. That feeling when you're being and you're doing come together and you get that little bit of a swing, I guess, as Bill and Ted might call it, metaphorically, or what I call the boing moment. So have a great weekend. Bon fin de semana. And we'll see you on Monday back with James, and we'll get live stats, live reporting, to see how he's doing with the launch today, of course, of his YouTube channel, An Old Guy in Europe. Just the last few comments then before we go. Many have piled in since I've been going on about lots of events. I used a dishwashing machine as a cupboard for all my dinnerware. True story. Why not? Have a Fab Friday. Good people, says the Squire. You too. And sounds amazing. I think I might, let's go back and get a bit of context here. I don't want to miss your comments. Michael Barton, bon dia, late check-in as we had to drop our daughter off at the University of Coimbra this morning, placement testing for intensive language class. Wow, what a girl. Be gruntled, and well, I'm sure it'll be a smash. I think we're missing a lot of context here. Or is that just my new supermarket that you're talking about? It is beginning to heat up a little, looking like a beautiful day here. About time too, right? Blimey, it was April 2022 when we were in San Martin de Porto. Where did the time go? Come back again next November. I know a few people who were here last November will want to come back, and we'll replay that weekend, and we'll have a few extra new experiences for you as well. We went in yesterday, saw several people, several folks we know cruising the aisles. The lettuce looks fresher. That's a great review. We'll take that. Thank you, Alison. See you in there. We are in for a great sardine festival and football this weekend in Orca. Yeah, 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Portugal are playing. Força Portugal. Come on. I do all my dishes by hand. I have a dishwasher, but don't use it. It's quicker by hand. Yep. Thank you very much. John Bishop is the comedian, and we have reached out, so maybe we'll chat with John Bishop on the show here. I'm far too old and fat to compete. They are really good with €2,000 prize money. I can't even get in tone, let alone match fit. And by Randy, I think he's going to the Anadia Wine Festival. Fantastic. Good stuff. I love doing my dishes by hand. It can be a mindful moment, can't it not? I rinse them in fresh lemon water. They smell nice and squeaky clean as well. Touch of citrus day. Yeah, how about that? A Portuguese citrus. And I had a Portuguese moment yesterday. Our neighbours delivered the classic box of fruit. It was on the doorstep. Thank you very much, Ivo and Grasa, for your lovely unwaxed citrus. We prefer things unwaxed, don't we, generally, us people of a certain age. Definitely will. So many people to catch up with. We know the festival is coming along thick and fast now, but it's great to see so many lovely people. It's the season. Wonderful. Several hours spent yesterday picking blueberries, 5 kilos for me. That's where you were in that lovely picture. And Mrs. Donor in the company of friends and a coffee and tosta mista afterwards. Sounds lovely. The tosta mista in Portugal, it's not just a cheese and ham toasty, is it? It's a bit like the torrada. It's different because it's got Portuguese love in it. And yes, we've got James's life hack there, using your dishwasher as your crockery storage. Fantastic. Yeah, cherries, of course, this year. Don't forget the cherries up in Fundao. Cheers, Pete, for that reminder. Carl, got to go sleep. I think I might have to have a lie down this morning. It's been great. Lovely hanging out with you. Squire of the Shires, have a good one. Bon fin de semana to one and all. Hit that like button, folks. And a quick bon dia alegria gumpers. See you soon, Mr. and Mrs. Duck. Take care. Have a great weekend. And yes, you did, T-Duck. Give yourselves a nice round of applause. You've all done very, very well. Ciao, ciao. Bye for now. Let's put the sexta fair, everybody. Ciao, ciao.
Bom dia, Portugal! In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good Morning Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.